I'm joined by Todd Harvey, Director of Amateur Scouting, and it's a very busy week for you this week. How you feeling?
I guess you could say that, yes. It's been a busy year. You know, we got in last night, meetings today, meetings tomorrow, and then kind of get ready, get our list ready, and head to the draft, and, you know, hope the player we like is there.
That's your Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's about to happen. So first off, just what's your version of your job description? Could you summarize it for us?
Well, obviously, watching the players, in communication with Cammy and Patrick, and, you know, putting the list together is probably the most important thing.
You've talked about the list. How many versions of the list exist?
One.
One. And how many times does that list get updated?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Like, would you say 50 from when you start?
More than that.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, you know, the way we do things is, you know, monthly lists come through, and you know, usually the guys that are on the list don't move up and down that much. Okay. They're there, but there's also guys that come on late in the season. Right. You know, they kind of hit their mark, and the trajectory of their season goes, you know, north, and those guys might jump on your list that haven't been on your list. So it varies, but when we get to a certain point, put the list together, and then we put it in, and that's what we go with.
Take us into the room when you're debating the list and your scouts are presenting their players, and then there's potentially some heated discussion or intense discussion. Mm-hmm. Are you a traffic cop? How do you mediate and manage everyone who wants their player on the list?
Well, you got to be a good listener, and that everybody's opinion matters. And if we don't have that, then we're dictators. So I do a lot of listening, ask a lot of questions. And I want their point of view on how they think and how they see it. And that's important to me.
Wednesday, when you walk in, you're sitting on the floor. What is that experience like?
It's excitement. There's kind of a buzz in the arena. You know, the fan support that they get at the draft here is exciting for the family and the friends of the people getting drafted. But for us as scouts, it's kind of like our Game 7. Yeah. You know, we're here, we're finished. We're going to make a pick, and you know, it's been a long year, and it all comes, and it's all in 1 or 2 days here. So,
diving a little bit more into that table and everyone sitting around it, what's the dynamic like? Because you've got to now, if it ends up being the 11th pick, mm-hmm. you're watching everything shake down in front of you. Who's talking? Who's not talking? What's the action like?
There is some action. I mean, obviously, you're scratching the names off your list that are going before. Right. It's exciting, but you're nervous. Yeah. And you're hopeful. Okay. And then there's some conversation of, you know, obviously we have conversations beforehand. Right. of things that might happen, might not happen, but nobody knows. That's why it's the draft.
And then describe the feeling when you walk out of there, especially if you think that you found a player that was really someone that you think adds value to the team and was on your list in a place you wanted to have them.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part. And that's where our scouts, you know, all the hard work that they've put in over the course of the year, it really comes to that point, and you're so excited because you got the guy you wanted, and you know he's going to help the Vancouver Canucks. And all that long nights and driving in the winter, it all makes it worthwhile.
We did it.
Yeah.
We're good. And then you go right back on Thursday and finish it off.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yes, for sure. That and then day 2 is a little bit longer, obviously. Yeah. But I think that's where a lot of our regional scouts get excited. Okay. Because all the work, and they've pushed for their guys, and you can see the smile on their face. Yeah, they're fired up because all that work that they've done. Right. It really makes it worthwhile for them.
Feels good for them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you're so busy this week, and you've got more work to do because we're counting down. But for Canucks fans, it's a really exciting time, and I appreciate your help with this.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for having me.